they get all their information from Augenis. So like Godus is just doing what Augenis says. They're not figuring anything out on their own.
Yeah. Um, Weston
Just
A.
like
Price is very interesting as well. Weston A. Price, in terms of animal foods and what his understandings and studying all of the ancient tribes and all of that as well. I mean, yeah, I think Augenis is interesting. I think in his work, like he's seeing lectures and things. I just think there's things that he's kind of off on. So to me, it's sort of like that kind of makes me question his integrity in other ways. But I mean, I think he's good on many things, though. I think he's right on a lot of things, but I just some things I don't think are the case. And but either way, it's fine. I mean, everyone may agree or
well,
disagree with various things that someone else says.
yeah, I would say Augenis is pretty much the authority, and any disagreement that you think you have, it's probably just some misunderstanding.
The authority to what? To you? Is it your authority?
No, I mean like when
Whose
it comes
authority?
to when it comes to health and nutrition and healing like very sick people, he's the only guy who actually figured it out. And other people don't know what they're talking about.
I've been like
Okay, so your
always
perception of him is that he's an authority from your viewpoint, and then you're just
Well,
claiming that he's an
um,
authority for everyone or something?
when I talk to the other raw primal dieters, there's a Discord server. Um, we've all, independently come to the same exact conclusion, just like with the globe deception, how we all live in different countries and, we all come on here and say the same points. How do you have gas pressure without a container? This is because it's just the truth and the truth defends itself. So when I talk to other raw primal dieters, we literally laugh at every other person who thinks that they know what they're talking about. Paul Saladino, any other nutritionist, we think they're retarded. And it's not even debated. Everyone's like, yeah, Augenis is the smartest by far. This isn't even, it's like, yeah, obviously. I
But
put
what
the
about
videos in there.
vegetables?
Yeah, he says to drink vegetable juice.
I was being sarcastic.
see
Oh.
my prob I've been like, really done too much of a dive into Augenis. And here's the thing, I think that he's a bit of a shill. I do think that he has taken ideas that are like fundamentally like true and they've been kind of overlooked, but he eventually mixes it in to push like this sort of extreme um idea about, just eating animal meat or whatever you want to call it, just animal byproducts as a main like staple to the human diet, as though humans are carnivores. And I just feel like this is just
Well, that's how you heal.
not
Is that
based
that did the steroids?
like
What?
I mean,
there.
there are so many different perspectives on diet, especially in today's world, on what we eat. I mean,
A lot of confusion.
one could almost say like that there's as many viewpoints on diet as there are humans on Earth, perhaps.
Well,
Although some may not be as into it as others, so they may just more kind of be following and eating fast food or whatever. But I mean, in terms of people that are into the topic, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's been a part of my work and research and study for years. So I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the different figures and individuals and stuff, but
mm,
it's wild the different viewpoints for sure on so many topics. Not only like eating meat or not, but yeah, raw, cooked, macros, micros. I mean, a billion. There's a ton of opinions, that's for sure, and viewpoints.
Augenis
So
is the only dude who I've seen that actually pairs his diet with iridology. And if you see that picture I just posted, he got actually kidnapped by some government agents, and they tried to murder him. They injected him with like 3 vaccines, and he shows after they injected him, you could see that there's damage in his iris. He's the only guy who actually takes people's irises and completely clears it out over a 40-year period, or being the maximum, whatever. Everyone else, like no one else is talking about this, actually cleaning out the body, reversing genetic potential damage. No one else is bringing this up. No one's talking about the importance of fat. No one is talking about these things the way Augenis does, the way he puts it all together. It's not close. He embarrasses everybody. He also, battled the government when they tried to make raw milk illegal. He's the realest one by far.
see,
I would say look into him if you haven't.
I was reading one account from him because apparently like there was people around that used to, I don't know, they would attend his talks or whatever, because he like I guess he did a tour. Or he went around like doing like talks or something, and apparently before one of them, he had food poisoning after eating raw food before one of them, and then claimed that the Thai mafia tried to kill him instead of like owning up to the fact that he had food poisoning because he was eating a bunch of raw meat in front of these people that were there to see him, and he actually canceled the talk or something like that.
You're saying he got food poisoning from eating meat?
Yeah.
How?
What are you talking
Well,
about? Yeah, that's not possible.
well, this is just an account I read. So basically, there was people that were going to visit him for a talk, or he was doing some kind of talk in Thai, or no, it wasn't Thailand. It was just the Thai mafia. I don't remember where it was, but essentially they saw him eating like a bunch of raw meat beforehand, except he ended up getting food poisoning during his like talk and canceled it. And then claimed that the Thai mafia tried to kill him. And so people were basically just saying how like weird some of the shit that was like, it was just like really weird shit, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't remember the
story
full
that he
story.
says when he was abducted and like thrown into a van, and then they like, what is the? I'm just forgetting. I was typing it to this guy because what is the name of eye level? Will probably remember. What's the name of the disease he claims they injected it? Like not mad cow disease, but which one was it?
No, he says that they just injected him with heavy metals.
No, there was a disease that he claimed that they gave him, and then they left him in a hotel, and he was like really sick and almost died. It's like
Yeah,
it's
no,
connected to pigs. What's the disease? Like not
Swine flu.
MERS. I don't know. It's
Not
one of
swine
these. I'm
flu.
trying to think which
Oh,
one.
no, he didn't believe in contagious diseases like that. So he said that they injected him with vaccines, like heavy metals and stuff. And he did say, like before this happened, he spoke out against the swine flu vaccine.
That's it. Swine flu. I believe he said they injected him with swine flu. That was his story that I remember.
Yeah, yeah,
He
because
said,
he
or what
spoke
I
out about it.
remember, maybe
Yeah,
it's been like probably 10, 15 years since I remember him, listening to his video or like when he was describing it. But from what I remember, he said that he was abducted, basically thrown, like men in like black suits, like whatever, like grabbed him, threw him into a van, put a thing over his head, a potato sack or whatever, took him, or I mean, injected him with swine flu, and then basically like left him in a hotel room. And then he was like,
yeah,
sick or
yeah.
whatever,
He
or at
said that
least somewhat sick. But that part, I'm like, I'm trying to remember how the severity
he
of
almost
that.
died. Yeah, he barely survived. He like went and got some like dead jellyfish or something to bind with the toxins that he like barely survived. But he was
All right,
saying
so
that
but you're saying he doesn't agree with infectious things, but he did say he was injected with swine flu and almost died.
well, he got injected with vaccines, and he says vaccines, any vaccine, is the worst thing you can inject into a person because they all have formaldehyde, ether, detergents, aluminum, and mercury, heavy metals. He says that toxins are the cause of disease, not viruses. But he said that he spoke out against the swine flu vaccine, and then said, yeah, they tried to inject me with swine flu vaccines to say, oh, I died from swine flu from swine flu.
Okay, that does ring a bell. Yeah, that he claims
Yeah.
that he was speaking out about it. They then, yeah, here's a article on it. But yeah, and then he claims that they abducted him, tried to inject him with him to like basically make it look like the guy who's like the anti-vax guy is now sick with it. Oh my gosh, look, he didn't get the vax. Is that the idea?
Exactly. Yeah.
They were trying to, yeah.
Yeah, he said that they're going to kill me in a way that discredits my work. They're going to try to do that. And, I actually think he's still alive. I think he faked his death, but
My other question for you, like, I know all these things in these stories, like, what reason do you have to believe them? Like, I mean, like, how do you know these are not just made up stories or delusional or some that he's doing it for fame or for attention? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to like debate you on it. I'm just saying, why is it that you
yeah.
believe these things versus this guy being, maybe not honest? I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying like because
Well,
that's a big story to say you were, abducted by the government, whoever it was, and injected. That's a pretty unique type of story.
yeah. When you actually do the diet, all of the crazy stories that you hear, because there's many crazy stories from everybody who does the diet. They all have insane stories. things that are completely unbelievable and things that, are, the mainstream would say are unbelievable or ridiculous. When you do the diet, you realize that all this stuff is real. Like crazy healing, people can heal from the most insane things you can imagine. Like it is real. You just have to, just look into it. I would say just do, you know,
Yeah, I mean, really clean raw meats can definitely help rejuvenate someone. We were
it
talking
isn't.
earlier about aging, like somebody who like is eating like fast food their whole life, like heavily cooked chemical food, versus somebody that's eating like very, very high nutrient dense raw animal foods along with whatever other fruits, vegetables, and herbs and things. I mean, that's a dramatic difference, like the in terms of the
Yeah,
diet.
the way that he has it, his diet, every part of it all works together, and they like all assist each other, and it's all about increasing the amount of volume of food and increasing the absorption of these foods. And basically, you just have the highest quality health foods. Like you mix certain things together, like the lubrication formula is probably the best health food recipe in the world. And the way it works is all the foods are helping. Uh, they're helping digest each other, like lemon juice, unheated honey, and raw butter with eggs. That's one of the most nourishing things that you could have. I would say it's probably the best recipe. But you have that with raw meats, and it makes the raw meat even more healing. Um, and then you have raw cheese before that. Like he puts all these things together in a way where it assists each ingredient um, and the healing effect of each ingredient. But it's not just eat raw meat and do these things. It's more complex and sophisticated.
I'm gonna have to go back on a few things for sure, but there is like I remember hearing a few things that just kind of ticked some red flags with me. Like it was almost like yeah, it's the I wish I had the right term, but it was almost like there was some sort of like superhuman elements, or just some claims just seemed very like far out and very disconnected from reality. I just can't even remember them. So yeah, maybe I'll go through and I'll kind of compile a bunch of things.
See, like eye level. See, this is probably something that okay, so I know like the whole topic of well, if you were going to respond to that, go ahead. But I guess maybe my thing was a slightly different topic change.
I'll just say that yeah, I tried to look into Ogenus and be like, okay, maybe is this all fake? Is this? I would not be saying these things if I didn't know for a fact that it's real. Like I didn't just find out about Ogenus. I actually test almost everything that he says, and I know for a fact all of it is real. So I'm telling you that he isn't lying about this stuff. He's not. All of the unbelievable stories he has are real. Now, maybe he slightly exaggerates certain things, or he could. You could say that he contradicts himself sometimes, but it's not. He's not actually contradicting himself. He'll just say things that are like he'll say one thing is the most important thing, and then he'll say another thing is the most important thing. But really, they're both super important. Like he's just